Hello my Keto Peeps, it's Samaya and welcome back to my channel, I Don't Sugarcoat. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to make something fun for your kids, or maybe even for yourself. We're going to be making pigs in a blanket, so let's get started. Before we begin, today's video is sponsored by Wholesome Provision. They are a company located right here in the US and they specialize in making keto-friendly products. Go on their website today and check out their catalog of wonderful products, from their pre-made stuff to their baked good needs. I love their Lupin Flour, their Allulose sweetener blend, their chocolate chips, and a few other things. So I'm certain you guys will find something that you will love too. I'll leave a link for their website in the description of this video. Now let's begin today's recipe. So we are going to be using the recipe for my pizza dough, but sort of for my pizza dough, with a couple adjustments. So I'm going to start off with a third of a cup of Lupin flour. Next, I'm going to be adding 3/8 of a cup of some vital wheat gluten, and that's going to be a half a cup plus 1/8 of a cup. Then I'm going to be adding a 1/4 cup of some oat fiber. Next, I'm going to be adding in 1 teaspoon of some baking powder, a half a teaspoon of some salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of some xanthan gum. And lastly to this, I'm going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of some allulose. And I'm just going to give this a quick mix. Now, you don't have to do this step. I just prefer to do it just to make sure that all my dry ingredients get mixed up really, really good. But you can just toss them into the bread machine if that's what you prefer. Now with that done and out of the way, I'm going to take out my bread pan here. And to this, I'm going to be adding some water that is 130 degrees. And I know that I have had several people comment several times about the temp of the water. I am using instant rise yeast or rapid rise yeast. This yeast works very well with this temperature of water. It is what the company recommends. Not all yeasts are the same, and not all yeasts use the same temperature of water. So please keep that in mind when I'm doing my recipes. I will tell you the recommended temp of water that I use for the products that I use. So if you're going to use the Rapid Rise yeast, you're going to want to make sure the water is between 125 and 130. It seems to work best in that range. And now I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon of this yeast. Actually, I'm going to be adding half a tablespoon. And that was 2/3 cup of water. If I did not say so, because I'm not sure if I mentioned that it was 2/3 cup of water. And then I'm just going to be adding half a teaspoon of some honey here. Now to this, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And then I'm going to add in 1 room temperature egg, and just go ahead and beat it. And then add it in. Okay, so now with this added, I am going to go ahead and dump in my dry ingredients. Now, you can do this the way that your bread machine says to do it, which is adding in the water, then you add in your dry ingredients and sprinkle the yeast on top. Totally fine. It will work that way as well. This is just force of habit for me, so I just like to do it that way. So now I'm going to be sticking this in my bread machine. And the reason why I'm using my bread machine today is because I don't feel like dirtying my stand mixer over there. It is much easier to clean this little pan than my stand mixer. Okay, so now you just want to set it to the dough setting on your bread machine. Okay, and so on my machine, it allows me to modify it, and so that way it will not do any rising. If your machine does not let you modify it, just make sure that if you're using your bread machine, you take it out before it starts to do the rising. If not, if you don't have a bread machine or if you don't want to do it in the bread machine, you can always do it in your stand mixer. I'll leave that choice up to you. So I'm going to get this going and I will come back when my dough is ready and so we can move on to the next step. All right, so my dough is ready. It's going to be a little bit stickier than the bread dough, and that is exactly what we want because we want this dough to be easily maneuvered by being able to roll it out because that's what we have to do with this dough. So you want this dough to have a little bit more hydration. So we are going to roll this out. Now, if it's sticking to your rolling pin like mine, just keep adding a little bit of oat fiber to your rolling pin. And now we're not looking for it to be perfect. We just want to be able to get 5 or 6 nice strips out of it, depending on how many hot dogs you're going to be doing. I am going to be doing 5, but usually this does 6. And as I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Once you got something like this, this is totally fine. You're just going to want to cut this into 5s or 6, however many you're making. Okay, and I'm going to be using some beef hot dogs. You can use whatever kind you want. However, I would suggest making sure they have a nice size to them. I really like using the ones that seem to be very sizable. And I have a baking pan here with a sheet of some parchment paper on it. And this is going to be really simple. We're just going to take our dough and we are just going to start to roll it around our hot dogs. All right, and when you're done, I like to try to make sure that both of the ends of the dough is on the bottom, so that way you can lay it down on top of it and it won't unroll. So try to make sure you can get it to be sitting on the bottom like that. And you might even have to kind of tuck the dough in top of itself so that way it will stay, but it'll be fine. It'll be perfect. Just get it in there however you can. All right, now that these are nice and neatly wrapped, they look amazing. I moved them to a slightly bigger cookie sheet. I'm hoping that they won't end up touching too much. So what I'm going to do now is brush them with an egg wash. With that done, these are going to go ahead and go in the oven at 375 for roughly 10 to 15 minutes, depending on your stove. I will be back when these are done. Oh, I should say you can totally put a slice of cheese in here. Roll a slice of cheese around the hot dog and then wrap the dough around it. I normally do that, but I had no cheese this time. But that is an idea if you want to do it, and it comes out totally amazing when you do it that way. However, this is what I got today, and these are going in the oven. See you back here when these are done. Are these not the most appetizing pigs in a blanket you have ever seen? You know, I said to make these for your kids, but truth be told, I designed this recipe for me, for an adult. This is adult style pigs in a blanket. These things are so delicious. The bread is so soft and pillowy. I've got a grown-up type hot dog in there, not those little kitty hot dogs that you get. A nice beef hot dog in there. Get yourself whatever type of dipping sauce you prefer, and this is going to be a delicious meal. 2 of these will be perfect for any meal you want. Now, the only thing I will say is you probably want to bake this up on a larger cookie sheet. I was trying not to have to turn on my oven back here because it gets pretty hot when I'm filming and cooking. So I threw these in my little smart oven over there to get the job done. If you don't want to have to peel them apart like I had to, then put them on a larger cookie sheet. Other than that, you guys, these things are so good and they smell so great. And I wish I could try this for you, but I cannot. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, not my eating window. If you liked Pigs-N-A Blankets before, you're definitely gonna love them now. So go ahead and give this recipe a try and let me know how you felt about it in the comments of this video. If you like this video, hit that like button for me. And if you're new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ding that little bell so you can get notifications every time I upload a new video. And until next time, you guys, bye.